Imagine waking up and finding $758 million in your bank account. Sounds like the ultimate dream, right? For Mavis Wanchik, a nurse from Massachusetts, it was the beginning of a nightmare, the jackpot that ruined her life.
But for Mavis Wanchik, a Massachusetts hospital worker, winning $758 million in the Powerball lottery became a nightmare.
This is God.
Overnight, Mavis became one of the wealthiest people in the country, catapulted above celebs like Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. But with the newfound wealth came unexpected attention, scrutiny, and danger. Mavis soon discovered that winning the lottery wasn't all it's cracked up to be. The winning moment. It was August 23, 2017, and Mavis was leaving work with her friend Rob. She bought 5 tickets 4 days earlier, but hadn't watched the draw live, as she never imagined she could win.
Calling her boss tonight and revealing how she chose those numbers.
As she put it, it's never going to be me. It's just a pipe dream that I've always had. Rob checked the numbers though, and he noted something. I bet you someone won with these numbers as birthdays. The exact method Mavis had used to pick hers. So she got out her tickets and checked them against the numbers Rob was reading out. 6, 7, 16, 23, and 26. Key dates from her family's birthdays. Plus the Powerball number 4, the number she used at Keno every Friday night. Mavis was in disbelief and handed her ticket to her friend for confirmation. She hadn't just won a few $100. She matched all 6 numbers, the odds of which are just 1 in 292.2 million. She'd won the jackpot, a jaw-dropping $758 million, almost $1 billion. In shock, Mavis didn't know how to react. Fortunately, her friend Rob was a firefighter and could keep his cool in stressful situations. His first instruction was to sign her ticket straight away, which she did. Then she needed to go home. Rob was pretty sure she was good to drive, but just in case, he followed her back to her house. Once she'd been safely escorted, she called her son to share the good news, then rushed over to her sister's house to present the winning ticket. She'd been playing the lottery for more than 20 years, and it had finally paid off. Of course, at this stage, she had no idea how many people played her lucky numbers.
For 7 hours, lottery officials said this is where that winning lottery ticket was sold, but it turns out it was actually sold an hour and a half away.
And, therefore, how many she'd be sharing the prize with. So just how much had she won?
We still had $1 million winner, so that's better than nothing.
Claiming the money. To find out, she had to travel to the Massachusetts State Lottery headquarters and claim her prize. There, lottery officials confirmed her win, and more importantly, that she was the only jackpot winner of the draw. She didn't have to share, and the whole prize was hers, $758.7 million, the largest win on a single ticket in U.S. history at the time. The next step was to make the big decision: take the lump sum or opt for the annual payments and 5% interest. Financially, taking the cash in one go makes much more sense, as investing it will generally provide a much higher return. But yearly payments are a great option for those worried they might be unable to control themselves with their newfound wealth. Fortunately, Mavis was a level-headed woman. She'd grown up comfortable, not rich, not poor, and lived a modest lifestyle. While many would race to spend their millions on mansions, sports cars, and lavish holidays, Mavis simply wanted to pay off the loan on her existing vehicle and retire early. So, she took the cash payment of $758 million and, after taxes, received a whopping $336 million. This gave her a net worth higher than some countries like Micronesia and the Pacific Islands of Palau, not to mention most A-list celebs. Like many of us, her first move was to ring up her boss at the nursing department at Mercy Medical Center, where she'd worked for 32 years, and tell him she would not be coming back. "I had a pipe dream, and my dream has finally come true," she said. "I wanted to retire in 12 years, and it came early." While down-to-earth Mavis would have preferred to relish her early retirement, relax at home, and figure out what to do next, she was quickly swept up in a media storm. Nearly every advisor would tell lottery winners to remain anonymous, or at least delaying coming forward until the media storm had quieted down. But everyone was excited. including the state of Massachusetts, which stood to make $24 million off the win, and Mavis was talked into a press conference within just 24 hours. There, they presented her with an oversized check for her millions. It was a massive event, with news cameras from all over the country capturing the moment. Mavis, supported by her mother and two sisters, was met with a frenzy of questions about her numbers the moment she found out and what she planned to do with the money.
I've called them and told them I will not be coming back.
The cameras were flashing, the reporters were shouting at her, but Mavis took it all in her stride. She was calm, cool, and collected, even though her life had just made a mind-boggling turn for the better. When she was asked how she planned on celebrating that evening, she joked, "I'm gonna go hide in my bed."
The first thing I want to do is I just want to sit back and relax, and I had a pipe dream, and my pipe dream has finally come true. I wanted to retire in 12, and it came early.
For many, an early announcement is a red flag indicating an overexcited winner wanting to show off to the world and blow their money on champagne, designer clothes, and fast cars. But for Mavis, it was simply a very naive mistake. I just wanted to do this. I wanted to just get it over and done with, and then everybody would just leave me alone. Of course, that didn't happen, and she was quickly left fearing for her life. The aftermath. Everyone, including Mavis, knows that a lottery win doesn't always equal a lifetime of wealth. Take William Bud Post, for example. He won $16.2 million in the Pennsylvania lottery in 1988, and within a few years, he was bankrupt and on food stamps. Or David Lee Edwards, who won $27 million in the Powerball lottery in 2001 and quickly squandered it all on lavish homes, fancy cars, and frivolous expenses. Within a few years, he was broke and living in a storage unit. Mavis knew these cautionary tales well and sought out professional advice. Happily, she wasn't the type to blow her fortune, but unfortunately, she couldn't control the media attention and the general public.
I want to have your baby.
I know your mama.
Suddenly thrown into the public eye, with her face plastered on newspapers and television screens across the country, reporters were calling her non-stop for interviews, and everyone wanted a piece of her. Everywhere she went, people were staring at her, asking her for autographs and selfies. She couldn't leave her house without being recognized, and even her friends and family members were calling her non-stop for money. Mavis felt like she was suffocating under the weight of her newfound wealth and fame. Even people that she used to deeply care about turned foul and violent after she won. They saw her as nothing but an ATM. Sadly, it didn't just stop with the people she knew. People from all over the country started hunting for her contact information. One even called Chicopee Police Public Information Officer Michael Wilk, telling him an obviously fake sob story and asking him to request money from Mavis on their behalf. He refused and hung up. But that was just the beginning. In the days after the press conference, strangers started showing up in her neighborhood, trying to track her down. They went door to door, asking people if they knew where Mavis lived, and her long-term home and sanctuary suddenly became a very dangerous place for her to be. The police were forced to increase patrols in her neighborhood and even stationed officers outside her house, hoping the increased visibility would deter those with bad intentions. Fortunately, it worked, and Mavis escaped any physical confrontations. Unfortunately, those looking to cash in on her win took their hunt online. Attempted scams. Scammers began crawling out of the woodwork to try to take advantage of her newfound fame and fortune. Phone calls, emails, and letters began pouring in, all claiming to be from people looking to share in her good fortune. Mavis was inundated with messages from strangers asking for money, promising to invest her winnings for her, and even threatening her and her family if she didn't comply with their demands. It was a dark side of her sudden fame that she could never have anticipated. The scammers were persistent, and they came in all shapes and sizes. Some claimed to be from charitable organizations, while others promised access to exclusive investment opportunities. It was overwhelming, and Mavis found herself constantly on guard, never knowing who to trust. Despite the stress and fear that came with being targeted, Mavis refused to let them win. She reached out to law enforcement officials who worked tirelessly to identify and prosecute those responsible. She found support from her family and close friends who helped her deal with the constant attention and then hired a legal team and other advisors to keep her away from scams. She also made a conscious effort to give back to her community, donated a portion of her winnings to charity, and set up a scholarship fund for students pursuing careers in healthcare. Frustratingly, the scammers were smart, and when they realized that Mavis wasn't going to fall for their cons, they decided to turn things around. Identity theft. Online scams are a numbers game. The vast majority of people will never fall for a phishing or financial scam that arrives in their inbox, but a minority will. This means that all scammers have to do is target enough people and they'll eventually receive a payout. This is why targeting Mavis didn't work. She was just one person who was expecting it and was now surrounded by financial advisors and law enforcement. So instead, scammers started using her name in press conference videos to attempt to con others. Just days after her win became public knowledge, the emails started landing in people's inboxes. Some were short and to the point, like, "Congratulations, you've been granted a charitable donation of $40 million by Mrs. Mavis Wanchik to be transferred in the next few days. Please contact her for more information at maviswanchik23@gmail.com. Thanks." Others were more sophisticated, detailing her past and wish for a modest life, claiming, "I've decided to do God's work after having a long conversation with some ministers of God and prayer sessions. I want you and your family to be happy, as we are happy today. We have voluntarily decided to donate the sum of $5 million for you and your family as part of our own charity project to help increase the fortune of 14 lucky people around the world." One even tried to cash in on the tragic death of Mavis's ex-husband by saying she had set up a donation program in his name, and the recipient of the email could enter a raffle for their chance of winning €4.2 million. Of course, to enter, the email recipient had to reply with their full name, email address, phone number, and information about their occupation. These phishing scams managed to harvest a wealth of private information that could later be used for fraud. And they didn't just stick to email. Hundreds of fake Facebook and Instagram accounts were set up in Mavis's name. Many came with a bio like, "Lottery winner of $758 million, giving back $5,000 to the first 100,000 followers. This is too much money for me, and I love helping people." This particular account ended up with 54.7 thousand followers. While following a fake Instagram isn't going to cause anyone to lose their savings, tragically, some were taken in by the scams. One victim was contacted by a Mavis account offering $15,000. All he had to do to claim the money was pay some fees, amounting to $3,786 in untraceable bit currency. Unfortunately, he fell for it and transferred the money. When the $15,000 didn't arrive, he paid another $300 to expedite the check. Then the scammers turned nasty and demanded access to his Facebook account and $500, or they'd turn the victim in to the FBI. The fake accounts became such a problem that the Chicopee police were forced to release a statement warning residents not to follow or respond to any messages supposedly from Mavis. Then Mavis herself went public with the story, warning others about the dangers of falling prey to the lottery scammers and encouraging people to report any suspicious activity. She made it clear that she would not be reaching out to anybody randomly and offering free money. Life after the lottery. It was a long and difficult journey